epic Recollections of the perfect world, heritage, eternity of love. Chapter 1: The pathway of the divided unity of light and nature.
Life is a continuous movement of the unchanging moment of nature, matter. In harmonious union with light, ether, it generates a path that creates space, which qualitatively complements and renews their original values in this process. It is too incomprehensible philosophically, but this is case that you do not know the history of beginnings and do not understand the original ideal nature of things. If you look into the wonderful world of ideas and see their instant, magnificent and perfect transformation, metamorphosis, it becomes fairly simple to realize the unique paradigm of the true world. This is both an amazing and endless story of love and metaphysical definitions of every living atom, photon, every microparticle in the macrocosm. Cosmos is an immense, deep awareness of oneself and one's home, which contains all the ideal filling of quantum consciousness in the inexhaustible and constantly renewed potential of the luminous rays of the great Creator, the progenitor, the universal mind. Space is by no means a cold, dark space that cannot be comprehended. It is merely a shadow of the true cosmos, its past experience in the curved space of inanimate nature, non-ideal picture of the world we live in. It is possible to open the cosmos, home world, only by opening oneself in oneself, rejecting one's simple and understandable role of a man who is temporary and vulnerable, and accepting oneself, an eternal and perfect human. To recreate ourselves from our immortal memory and luminous soul is our main individual task. This is a great and heroic act that a man performs inside himself and his imaginary world. And only this direct way is necessary to revive true life in oneself and around oneself, remembering one's destiny. The day when kingdom come is single and eternal. Our Father's joy is in His Son. Regeneration is paternal. The widespread assertion has it that the beginning of all things happened as a result of the Big Bang, an unconscious separation, and that, in its original form, the world existed in absolute serene peace, and life was the result of that very Big Bang. We could approximately describe it as follows. It was a time when everything existed, incomprehensible and ginormous, visible and invisible, conscious and unconscious. This everything existed, but there was no way it could be called life. It was just a dream or anabiosis, not even ripening, but rather a state of unconscious calm, therefore not yet evinced. To call this everything as a point would be wrong, a place, not precise. It would be correct to call it the world. Now let me clarify this. The world is a living substance, similar to a living organism, a being, a beginning. And this world consisted of duality, of the two full-fledged equal halves opposite in their organization. But at the same time, each half carried within itself the essence of the other. It is quite difficult to call these halves two worlds in one, because to name means to give a definition, to delimit, to divide. To divide the indivisible is the very first thing that cannot and should not be done. This is a cosmic axiom, but I should not jump ahead of myself. Well then, the world, consisting of two beginnings, existed without being aware of itself in static calm inside and in endless voids outside. It is senseless to talk about what natures the world consisted of, because this world itself was not aware of itself and its nature. That is why it was in its cosmic unconscious dream. A moment came and the world began to vibrate, emitting some sort of chaotic movement caused by internal excitement from which the so-called Big Bang occurred, making one half of the world separate from the other. But what kind of excitement can there be in a static, motionless calmness? Is it worthwhile to conclude that the state of calm ended at this very moment, causing movement, not yet existence, rather the first throbs of life? To understand what happened inside the world is not easy either. It then merged, then drifted away within itself, pulsed, and died away again. This happened again and again during the countless and boundless eternity of a moment, but inevitably led to the separation of one nature of the world from Anoha. Sounds incomprehensible enough, doesn't it? All the same, how did an indivisible nature separate? It turns out that the cosmic axiom is not at all an axiom. And can it be refuted?